Chapter 1. Having strong confidence in your own abilities is the key to living a successful life. If you want to live a happy, successful life, you must believe in yourself. You need to trust your own abilities. Without sound self-confidence, it is impossible to achieve success. Self-confidence leads to self-realization and triumphant accomplishment, while a sense of inadequacy and inferiority interferes with the attainment of one's hopes. There are many people out there who suffer from a deep sense of inadequacy and doubt their own ability to grasp opportunities or to meet responsibilities. Deep down, they are scared and shrink from life. Wherever they are always plagued by the ominous fear that something bad is going to happen. These people end up settling for less in life just because they don't believe that they have it in them to be what they want to be. In a study, some 600 college students were asked to state their most difficult personal problem. 75% listed lack of confidence as their biggest problem. It is safe to assume that the same large proportion is true of the general population. Millions of people in the world go crawling through life on all fours, defeated and afraid. And in most situations, such frustration of power is absolutely unnecessary. It can be overcome when proper steps are taken. You can develop creative, justified faith in yourself. According to Vincent Peale, the key to eliminating inferiority complex, profound self-doubt, is to develop tremendous faith in God. By doing this, you will invariably develop a humble yet soundly realistic faith in yourself. So, how do you acquire this dynamic faith? By prayer, by reading and meditation on the scripture, and by practicing its faith techniques. Here are some simple, workable rules that can help you practice faith and consequently overcome attitudes of inadequacy. First, create a vivid mental picture of yourself as succeeding. Hold the picture with utmost tenacity and never allow it to fade. Ultimately, your mind will seek to develop this picture. Second, whenever a thought of negativity regarding your personal powers starts to come to mind, deliberately voice a positive thought to eliminate it. Next, say this affirmation out loud. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. Repeat it at least 10 times every day. Finally, remind yourself that God is with you and you cannot be defeated by anyone or anything. Have an unwavering faith that you now receive power from Him. Chapter 2. Stay energized by getting in sync with the divine rhythm. Our state of mind has a tremendous influence on our physical well-being. If you hold in your mind, with no doubt, that you are tired, every nerve and muscle in your body accepts that fact and acts accordingly. In a similar vein, you can keep on at an activity indefinitely if your mind is intensely interested in it. God is the divine source of all energy in the universe. When we are connected to God spiritually through our thought processes, the divine energy courses through us, giving us infinite vitality. When a person loses contact with the divine energy, they gradually become depleted in spirit, mind, and body. One way to avoid physical and mental tiredness and enjoy infinite energy is by getting in sync with God's rhythm. The primary reason why our energies get easily depleted is the high tempo, the abnormal pace at which we go. In order to conserve energy, we must get our personality in line with the rate of God's movement. When we get in sync with God's rhythm, we develop a normal tempo and energy flows freely within us. Divine power is constantly available. If you open to it, it will rush in like a mighty tide. It is there for anybody under any circumstances or in any condition. Vincent Peale. So how do you get in sync with God's rhythm? Vincent Peale recommends that you relax physically and then convince your mind to do the same. Follow this mentally by picturing your soul going into a quiescent state. Now say this prayer. Dear Lord, you are the source of all energy in the universe. I hereby draw energy from yours, from an inexhaustible source. Then, believe strongly that you receive energy. Keep in tune with the limitless source. You can also avoid fatigue by becoming genuinely interested in something. Your energy only depreciates when life becomes dull in your mind. When the mind gets bored, one can get tired even while doing nothing. You don't have to live your life in a state of constant fatigue. Get out of yourself. Do something. Be somebody. Get absolutely fascinated by an endeavor and stay dedicated to it. Don't sit around idly every day moaning and complaining about things. Living like this will only eat you up physically and mentally. People who are out doing something, getting into good causes, aren't fatigued. Don't get too wrapped up in your affairs that you become bogged down by your emotional difficulties. The more you lose yourself in something bigger than yourself, the more energized you become. Did you know? Guilt and fear can also deprive you of energy. To regain your strength, you must eradicate your fear and guilt completely. Whatever it is that you're scared about, commit it into God's hands and trust Him for a favorable outcome. Chapter 3. Whether you are happy or you're not is totally up to you. When Abraham Lincoln said people are just about as happy as they make up their minds to be, he wasn't lying. You see, you can be unhappy if you choose to. It's very easy to accomplish. Go around telling yourself every minute how bad and unsatisfactory things are. You can be quite sure of regular doses of unhappiness. But tell yourself regularly that things are going great, that life is good, and that you choose happiness, and you can be sure you'll get what you choose. You are the one who decides whether you get to be happy or unhappy. Most people, through their thoughts, create their own unhappiness. Of course, not all unhappiness is self-created. Some of our woes are created by social conditions on which we have no control. The fact, however, is that, to a large extent, we extract out of the elements of life either happiness or unhappiness for ourselves, through our attitude and thoughts. Just as achieving unhappiness isn't complicated, happiness is achievable, and the process for obtaining it is straightforward. Anyone who desires happiness, anticipates it, learns, and applies the formula of faith can live a happy life. One way by which we can choose to be happy is to cultivate the habit of happiness. When you develop the habit of happiness, when you cultivate a merry heart, your whole life will become a continual feast. That is, you'll enjoy life and live your best life every single day. The habit of happiness results in a happy life, and because we can create a habit, we can, therefore, create our own happiness. To develop the happiness habit, you have to think happy thoughts. Make a mental list of happy thoughts and meditate on them throughout the day. If a thought of unhappiness crosses your mind at any point during the day, stop immediately, eject it consciously, and substitute it with a thought of happiness. Before getting out of bed every morning, deliberately fill your conscious mind with happy thoughts. Visualize each of the happy experiences you expect to unfold during the day. Savor their joy. Such thoughts will help cause events to happen just as you've pictured. Chapter 4. Your expectations determine what you get out of life and what you make of yourself. When you expect the best in life, you get the best, and when you expect the worst, that's exactly what you get. One law recognized by religion and psychology alike is that you can turn your life around by changing your mental habits into belief instead of disbelief. If you learn to expect without a doubt, you can bring everything into the realm of possibility. This doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get everything you think you want. That probably wouldn't be good for you. When you have complete trust in God, He guides your mind so that you only want the things that are good for you and that are in accordance with His will. However, it does definitely mean that everything that seems impossible moves to the area of possibility when you learn to believe. The most powerful force in human nature is the spiritual power technique taught in the Bible. Norman Vincent Peale. Every great thing becomes a possibility for you when you change your mindset from a state of doubt into a state of constant belief. Doing this requires faith. Here is a faith-boosting exercise you can practice. Read the New Testament and make a note of the number of times faith was mentioned. Select 10 to 12 of the strongest statements about faith that resonate with you the most. Then, memorize each of these statements. Meditate on these faith concepts and repeat them regularly until they become ingrained in your conscious mind. They will eventually sink from your conscious into your subconscious mind through the process of spiritual osmosis. And over time, they'll modify and transform your basic thought pattern. Through this process, you will become a believer and an expector. And when this happens, you will in due course become an achiever. You'll have the power to get what you want from life in line with God's will. By expecting the best, you will be putting your whole heart into accomplishing your goals. When you expect the best instead of worst, things become better. The reason is you'll be free from self-doubt, and in effect, you will be able to put your entire self into your endeavor. There is absolutely nothing in the world that can stand in the way of someone who focuses his entire self on a problem. When you tackle a difficulty as a personal unity, the difficulty, which itself is a sign of disunity, dissipates. Chapter 5. Adopting a mindset that doesn't believe in defeat is essential to living a triumphant life. People whose thoughts are primarily focused on defeat always end up getting defeated in life. If you want to live an indomitable life, you must adopt the "I don't believe in defeat" mindset. Truth is, your obstacles aren't as difficult as they seem. Your mental attitude is what makes all the difference. So the first thing to do is to stand up to it. Don't complain or whine about the obstacle. Attack it forthrightly without fear. Stand up to your challenges and do something about them. You'll discover they don't have half the strength you think they have. Have faith that God is with you and that with Him by your side, you have the power to handle any obstacle. Believe that by His divine grace, God has given you the power to lift yourself out of the rough. Affirm to yourself that you can do anything you have to do through His power. Believe that power is flowing through you, relieving you of all tension. Believe this, and a sense of triumph will come. Say this affirmation out loud. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Repeat it 5 times, and every time you say it, conclude by saying, I believe that. Make this a daily habit, and it will release an indomitable power in your mind. If all you've ever fed to your subconscious mind to this point is negativity, it might counter your positive affirmations and start to remind you of how messed up your situation really is. Don't give in to its pressure to become negative. Say this out loud. I don't believe in defeat. Continue declaring positivity until it dominates your subconscious attitudes. Remember, all you have to do about your obstacle is stand up to it by faith, and it will finally give way. You will shatter it. Something has to break, and it will be the obstacle, not you. Faith in God and faith in yourself can take you through every rough patch. Faith is the principal quality you need to live a life void of worry. It's enough. In fact, it's more than enough. Chapter 6. You can turn your situation around by changing your thoughts. American philosopher William James once said, anybody can change their lives just by changing their attitudes of mind. This is the greatest discovery of my generation. James was right. As you think, so shall you be. This is the most important and powerful fact about human nature. Perhaps you're not doing quite as well in life as you once dreamed. You may have had bad breaks upon bad breaks, and you just can't get ahead no matter how hard you try. Perhaps you've been barely getting by for so long that you're now on the verge of giving up on yourself and on the hope of a better tomorrow. Here is good news for you. You can remake your life. You can turn your situation around. All you have to do is get rid of all old, tired, worn-out thoughts and fill your mind with fresh, new, creative thoughts of love, goodness, and faith. The law of prosperity and success is a brief and simple one. It states that if you think in negative terms, you'll achieve negative results. And if your thinking is slanted towards the positive, you'll get positive results. It's that simple. If you believe, you will succeed. By thinking positively, you inadvertently set in motion positive forces that will bring the positive result you desire to pass. Positive thoughts create around you an atmosphere that is favorable for the manifestation of positive outcomes. Conversely, negative thoughts surround you with an air propitious to the development of negative results. To change your circumstances, start thinking differently. Here is a simple 7-step exercise that can help you transform your mental attitude from negative to positive. Number 1, for the next 24 hours, go out of your way to be optimistic. Speak hopefully about everything, from your job to your health to your future. Number 2, after practicing optimism for 24 hours, go ahead and try it for an entire week. You are only permitted to take 1 or 2 days off to be realistic. You'll discover that what you think is realism is actually full-blown pessimism. Number 3, feed your mind with positive thoughts by studying the New Testament. Annotate every sentence about faith. Number 4, memorize these passages about faith till you know each of them by heart. Number 5, distance yourself from negative friends and get closer to the ones with positive attitudes. Number 6, avoid arguments at all costs. When a negative attitude is expressed, however, counter with a positive and optimistic opinion. Number 7, offer prayers of thanksgiving to God on the assumption that He is already doing great and wonderful things in your life. The key to a better and more successful life is to substitute your old, dead, unhealthy thoughts for new, vital, dynamic faith thoughts. You can be rest assured that the new thought will remake you and transform your life. Conclusion. In the world today, too many people are defeated by the challenges of everyday life. They go struggling, perhaps even complaining and whining through their days with a sense of profound irritation at what they consider the bad hands life has dealt them. While there's no denying that there may be such a thing as being dealt a bad hand by life, there's also a spiritual means by which we can control the kind of hand we are dealt. Too bad many people let themselves be defeated by the problems, cares, and challenges of life, and it is also quite unnecessary. Obstacles and challenges simply aren't permitted to destroy your well-being and happiness. You can only be defeated by them if you're willing to be. Stand up to your obstacles with an unwavering faith that God is with you, and you'll discover that those obstacles don't have half the strength you think they have. Your mental attitude, whether positive or negative, goes a long way to determine the quality of your life. Positive thoughts attract positive manifestations to your physical experience. Conversely, negative thoughts create an atmosphere for negative manifestations. By changing your thoughts from negative to positive and adopting the mindset of victory rather than defeat, you can change your circumstances. You can remake your life by transforming your thoughts. Develop the habit of happiness, learn to live by faith, and you'll enjoy life and live your best life every single day. Try this. Stand up to your obstacles by faith. Whenever you're facing any challenge, stand up to it and do something about it. Don't go crawling through life on your hands and knees defeated. Faith gives you the staying power to keep on going when the going is hard. It is the extra ingredient needed to help you keep pushing when it seems that everything is against you.